is going on, guys? Inside New York Sports Podcast here, and today we have probably our final mock draft before the NFL draft, which is tomorrow. And this is the first real one of me doing pick 5 and 10 because the Giants did trade for number 10 and they shipped off Dexter Lawrence. But let's see how this draft ends up shaping out. I think it's got a good opportunity to be in favor of us because we have number 5 and 10, right? So when you have pick 5 and pick 10, you have a good opportunity to get two solid players. But let's start off with the draft. And this is how it shapes up, right? You have an interesting selection from pick 5. So Fernando Mendoza goes 1. Arvo Reese goes 2. Jeremiah Love goes number 3, and then Sonny Styles goes number 4. So the Giants miss out on Sonny Styles and Jeremiah Love, and they got some options. They do. They can go Caleb Downs at pick 5. They can go with the wide receiver in Carnell Tate. I don't think Jordan Tyson is an option at pick 5. I think maybe pick 10. And offensive line, I think, is a possibility as well. It's really, where do they want to go here? Do they want to address offensive line now and hope Caleb Downs is there? I think that's an option. And I think I'm going to change it up for this one. I feel like Caleb Downs, you can get him at 10. I think with the positional value and the other teams, like the Browns aren't taking him, the Commanders may take him, the Saints aren't taking him, and the Chiefs aren't taking him. So I think you probably don't have to select Caleb Downs at pick 5. And I'm going to say this team needs offensive line pretty bad. I'm going to take Francis Mariano at pick 5. And would you look at that, the board shapes out pretty good for the New York Giants. Interesting, they don't go Caleb Downs. They go Dylan Thieneman, the Chiefs do. David Bailey goes pick 6. That's interesting. Ruben Bain goes pick 7. And then Carnell Tate falls into the laps of the New Orleans Saints. So the New York Giants have a few opportunities, a few different ways they can go about this, right? They address their offensive line early, right? They don't snag a weapon in Carnell Tate or Jordan Tyson, and now they have an opportunity to take either Mansour Delane, Spencer Fano, or Caleb Downs. They could go Jordan Tyson as well. Don't rule out him. They can go interior offensive line if they really want to get crazy. But let's just evaluate the top 3 selections I think the Giants can go with. Starting off with Caleb Downs, right? Caleb Downs, his father was drafted by the New York Giants in the 3rd round. He said he would love to be a New York Giant. John Harbaugh has stated he has a potential to be a Hall of Fame player for the New York Giants, and I fully believe that. I think what Caleb Downs does, his ability to tackle very well, his ability to scope out the field like a ball hawk, kind of just like a hawk in general, maybe not get the interceptions as many, but he scopes out the field really well. And I think one of the big examples was that game against Indiana. There was times that Fernando Mendoza wanted to throw in the zone of Caleb Downs, and Caleb Downs had it all covered. So I think you upgrade Caleb Downs over Tyler Nubin as well. You have Javon Holland, and I think just ultimately beefing up the defense is definitely something. Mansour Delane at pick 9 or pick 10, sorry, he's ranked number 9. You get the best cornerback in the class, I think, at least for health-wise. Jermod McCoy, if you look at him, right, really solid player, in my opinion. The problem is that he's been hurt, right? Obviously not subscribed to PFF, so we don't get all of that, but he is not healthy, and taking a risk at 10 for Jermod McCoy is a big risk. Like, that is a big risk. But I think with Caleb Downs and really Mansour Delane, who we're talking about, your cornerback room is pretty. I'd honestly say it's pretty bad. Honestly, I don't very view Paulson Adebo as a cornerback one. Andrew Phillips gets in penalty trouble at time. Cordell Flott, you lost to the Tennessee Titans. And then Deonte Banks has not maybe been the player that you drafted at in the first round. But I'm going to take Caleb Downs here because I think ultimately he should be the selection as we get to our second round selection at pick 37. And there's some, it's all defensive line, really. Just want to see where some of these other players went. Caden McDonald would have been probably a good pick at pick 37. But just to recap, really the first round of just teams. As Spencer Fano, he went 12 to the Dallas Cowboys. They upgrade at tackle. Kenyon Sadiq is an interesting player. I think with Kenyon Sadiq, his college stats are interesting. 560 yards in 2025 for 8 touchdowns. So maybe he wasn't, for a prospect-wise, I think there's been better in the past. But for the LA Rams, they can go any position, and he's going to be really good. C.J. Allen goes to the Baltimore Ravens. I'm trying to think, when did Okay, so Vega Awane went actually after the Baltimore Ravens. That's interesting. Some other notable picks. The Dallas Cowboys end up taking the risk on McCoy. I do still like the pick. Caden Proctor falls to 24. The Eagles take a wide receiver to probably replace A.J. Brown. A bunch of Clemson guys go. But getting back to our pick 37, I think there's a few good options, right? They can go cornerback with Brandon Sissy. I think he's a pretty solid player in the second round. They can go with a Lee Hunter as well. I'm pretty high on Lee Hunter. Caleb Banks, he's a big fella. This guy is a big fella for sure. 6'6", 330 pounds. Big, strong. He's violent. He has had injury issues. I think he recently had an ankle issue that's been bothering him, and that's probably why he falls. But he's a good run defender. Overall, I think he's a pretty solid player. Christian Miller, very solid as well. 6'4", 310 pounds. I think this guy has a lot that you really like. And the big thing is stopping the run. That's the big thing. Posted a 84.5 PFF grade. He's been able to get to the quarterback. He's been able to do a lot of good things, right? Mainly lining up in the B gap in 2025. Had almost 300 snaps there. He's been most drafted by the Texans, so people view him as a Texan potentially. The Texans had the number 28 pick, so they maybe see him going there. But I think with the Giants and what they want to do, they got to beef up the defense. In terms of wide receivers, Chris Bell is available. They can go with Chris Bell. I'm pretty high on him. I think he's a pretty solid player as well. Had a pretty solid 2025. Let's see who took Jordan Tyson. The Jets took Jordan Tyson. Got it. Jets having themselves a solid class. Not sure why they would go KC Concepcion if they just took Jordan Tyson, but that's PFF for you. But with that being said, enough of me talking. I'm going to take Christian Miller, defensive lineman from Georgia, get an SEC player there. And obviously the Giants don't have a third-round pick, so we're really just letting this thing sim through. I don't do trades on PFF. I'm not subscribed. But, yeah, overall, let's see what PFF gives us for a draft grade. Remember, we took Francis Maui-Noah. We took Caleb Downs. And we took Christian Miller. So, that is the draft. for you guys. But anyways, guys, that is going to do it, I think. I think with what the Giants did, I thought we did a pretty good job. I thought we did. I thought we, I thought with what we did with the Giants, you take Francis Mauigoa at 5, right? And then you go down the board and you take a guy like Caleb Downs at pick 10. I think that's a pretty solid selection for the New York Giants. You get defense, you get offense. The big thing is protecting Jackson Dart, right? I think with Francis Mauigoa, you could plug him in at guard for Daniel Falele or Evan Neal, whoever is the projected starter. Mauigoa slots in at right guard. You got Illuminor at right tackle. Left tackle, you got Andrew Thomas. And then obviously on defense, you have Caleb Downs. But anyways, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.